Today, I've got a very exciting review today. This is No For Gamer 51, and today we're going to be taking a look at 4 Dart Zone blasters. Let's begin. That's right, you heard me, Dart Zone blasters. Now, normally, well, for last couple of years since Dart Zone's been distributed over in America and all that, us Australians have been wondering, when are we getting our fair share? Well, this year, we've got 4 of them. And not only that, we've got our own packaging of waffle darts, also known as the universal foam dart. Also, which are just basically the good old waffle darts. And for how much they are worth, they are good. Anyway, let's start off with the very first blaster we got. The Scorpion Evo box. Plus the Scorpion Evo. The Spectrum. The V-Twin. And then last, but certainly not least, the Villianator. So, one by one, we'll go between all 4 of them, but we'll start off with the very smallest one of the bunch and one of the cheaper ones of the motorized ones per se. I won't go too much into details with cost. However, if you want a rough estimate for all the Australians out there, the Scorpion Evo blaster, or the Scorpion blaster. So this blaster here cost me $29 Australian dollars. So for you Americans, it's roughly 19 or so bucks. So we'll start with that one, and it is quite small of a minigun. But I'll make it very short and simple because everyone's seen the Scorpion Evo, but it's time for me to get my version over there especially. And all it is a motorized full auto dart blaster, and it's basically just a minigun, just small. So it's amusing and it's actually quite good. At the front, no end strike barrel. I won't go into that. But all it is it's a chain fed motorized blaster with a on-off switch. It is quite old. This is from 2014, and it's 10 years later decided to come to the Australian market in this gorgeous white color scheme, and with cool prints on both sides. Yeah, this is quite a nice blaster. So, but obviously to function, you turn it on, and then you just fire. You pull the trigger. Pretty straightforward. It's just an on-off blaster, and you pull the trigger. And unlike the V-Twin, which I'll get to in a second, it doesn't have a little wheel. It uses an actual pusher arm. So the belt goes into position, the pusher arm pushes the dart into fire. Obviously at the time it was great, but for our market now, with everything else, it's a bit wheelie. But for all the kids out there, it's like a little badass little minigun. So it's like, I find this adorable, and I love it for that. It seems slow, but I love the Scorpion. It is a good little mini gun for someone with a little 6-year-old that wants to just go around and shoot this. And the scale works for it as well. So I love that about the Scorpion Evo. And yeah. Anyway, so that's the Scorpion Evo. Up next, we'll go on to one of my favourite ones. And that is the Spectrum. And this one is one of the few more, one of the newer ones that came out 4 years ago. And same principle, it's only, there's no muzzle attachment, but we do have a foregrip that's removable. So if you want to put it up or down, you can. Then we've got what appears to be a sniper scope, pretty much. But in amongst itself, it is its own rail attachment as well. So that's even more unique. And then on the back is the stock. And I should mention all the motorized ones that I'm going to show in the video require 6 AAs, which is pretty self-explanatory. But the stock is also very good, as it being a more or less a small buffer tube stock, but also its own attachment point like that. So it's also just as good. Which means this stock is also compatible with the Villianator stock, so which is this one here. And I like how there's names on these as well to simulate like the stocks and that. So like this one's called the XLS6 and I like it. But as I said as well, it's a comfortable blaster. I love the rev trigger on it and I love the magazine as well. It does work with all standard Nerf mags. So here's an 18 rounder. I bet that one thing you need to make sure when you load an 18 or anything with the bump, you hit it and then knock the magazine forward in a way. So you grab it, lift, push it with a knock forward. So always have it forward so you can get it out. Other than that, anything else like this, the Spectrum's 10 rounder or any other Nerf mag that doesn't have it, it can just drop straight out. And that same thing, I love it's got stickers on both sides for the just to give it a bit more jazz. But I love how it's all these motorized ones are white, so it's a good platform for like paint jobs and that. I love it for that as well. But overall, just like I said with the Scorpion, this is still just a good little blaster as well for anyone. But modders will love this one especially for what it's capable and all that, as everyone's seen. But this is one of the, between all four of these, this one and the V-Twin my personal favorites. But I'm only getting into them to be personal because the Villianator, it's good and I love it. And that would be for my Springer per se. But I need to obviously get some more of the full length Dart Zone blasters to try out. But the Spectrum, and I'm not going to fire these. I'm a bit late to saying that. But everyone's seen how these fire. And it's just my personal opinion on all of these. And as I said, I love the Spectrum as well. This is another great blaster. Now the next blaster, which is the other personal favorite, the V-Twin. Now this blaster, oh boy. So apart from the carry handle being removable, which means you could almost have two of these like this, it's just like the Scorpion, but a little bit better. Unlike the Scorpion with a on-off switch, this has got a rev trigger, so you can rev it. And then you pull the bottom one for rev, and then your top one's for fire. And this feels just as good as the Scorpion, but a bit better. Now, I bet between the two, if you've got a little kid running with it, I'd pick the Scorpion for them. But if you're a bit older on that and you want something a bit bigger, then I'd say the V-Twin. Other than that, same deal. It's just like all these motorized ones have just got a white shell, but they have a little stickers on both sides, just of a lightning spark, just like the box artwork. But overall, it's, as I said, the V-Twin's got the newer chain with the slots cut out. I do not know if it works with the X-Shot one. I have not tried it, but I will say if you get the Spectrum and you want a bigger chain, you can take the V-Twin one and put it into this. However, you cannot put the V-Twin one into this because of those cutouts, and it's because of the wheel on this. And that, if you've got the V-Twin, you don't need to get the Scorpion. However, if you've got the Scorpion and your kid's gotten a bit older over time, then I'd consider getting the V-Twin. However, but in all, I still think of the Scorpion as another great Dart Zone blaster, just like the V-Twin. And now, onto the last blaster, and the only Springer so far, but one of my personal favourite Springer of the bunch. Shouldn't say that, it's the only Springer so far, but the Villianator. And as you could expect, it's just a pump action slam fire enabled blaster with no air restrictor, but a great blade. It's basically based on the M1927 or the Tommy gun. It's got a 40 round drum, which is nuts, but I love it for that. And it helps with storage. And putting it in is just as good as taking it out. It feels a bit stiff, but over time, wearing that in and out, you'll get used to it. And as I said before, it's got the rail of the old Dart Zone rails. So that means it will only work with more of these the Spectrum stuff, but it still works with anything else. And the same with the stock, as I demonstrated before. And this stock is called the Sport Stock 350. I find that amusing. But as I said, the Villianator is just a great blaster as well. And as you saw, I did put my finger on it to stop it from dry foam, because unlike later Dart Zone blasters, this one did not come with air restrictors. So you're basically shooting the air straight out, damaging your plunger. Other than that, it's a heck of a fun blaster. You get 40 darts in the chamber, and mind you, you can shoot half-length darts out of this straight away, because there's no pin dart post, so you could load the short darts in this straight away, and you can go hammering this at any Nerf event. Overall, this blaster, which I'll quickly just go back to the receipt. So, the Spectrum cost $25. That is very good. The Villianator cost me also $25, so pretty much, yeah. The two best blasters that I'd pick between this so far are the cheapest. And then, going further down, the Scorpion cost $29, which is still good. And then the V-Twin cost $39, which is a bit more than what you'd think. But when you look at the sizes and that, it makes sense. Overall though, all these blasters, I love them. They are probably the best flagship blasters per se I'd seen come out of this. I'm just blown away. Yeah, as I said, this is the first time I've held the Villianator. This is the first time I've held the V-Twin, the Spectrum, and the Scorpion. And the first impressions from all of them were great. The only one that had my gripe, as I said, was the Scorpion. And as I said, it was because of just the slow fire rate. But that doesn't matter to me. Because as I said, the other aspect to the Scorpion is the fact that it's a small little minigun that you can have someone running around with. I love these blasters. These are great blasters. If you've got the money and you want to have a fun time with your kids and whatnot, all of these are great options. And then, as I said, for anyone that's doing the pro stuff, like, you know, Nerf events, they're all just as good. I know the Scorpion might not be the best, but you could still have fun with these. These are what I like the Dart Zone blasters for. These ones actually make me feel fun. And I know the Nerf ones do too, but nowadays, this is on the shelf with our new Nerf stuff, and I'd rather pick up these. These are great. And as I said, these darts, this is a 100-pack, and you get it for $8. I am blown away by this. These are just great. And I love them. They are great blasters. These are just... as I said, the Villianator is a good pump action, and it's, as I said, you can hold it from the hip and all that. And the Spectrum is a good one as well. These are all great blasters, and as I said, even the V-Twin is something that you'd be menacingly trying to be taking care of, avoiding, because it's, as I said, it's just they are all great blasters. And yeah, even the Scorpion might be, it seems a bit not as menacing, but it still packs it. Anyway, that's my review on the Dart Zone blasters, the Scorpion, the Spectrum, the V-Twin, and the Villianator. Hopefully you enjoyed this, because I had a lot of fun with this. And I hope to catch you in the next one. This is Nerf Gamer 51. I'll talk to you then.